Hey everyone, welcome to our first week of February. This is our first video of February curriculum for Monday and Tuesday of week 1. I'm really excited to get you guys training this month. We're going to be doing some ground stuff, but also a few standing up, some kick and strikes and stuff. So before we get going on today's lesson, I want you to get warmed up. Jumping jacks, push-ups, sit-ups, front-ups, getting that stretch in your legs, and then finishing with 30 seconds of exercise, whether that's mountain climbers or holding a plank or jogging in place with high knees, or you could even do 10 star jumps, all right? But go ahead and get your body warmed up and we'll get going. All right, guys, so first thing we're going to be learning today is a technique called a back break fall, okay? Now, this is what you use to help control your body and the impact if you get pushed or knocked over onto your back. So I'm going to show you what that looks like from a standing position, and then I'm going to break it down today. We're going to start from just a sitting position to help you get the hang of it, all right? So here's what that looks like. I'll show you one more time from this way. All right, so a back break fall is the number one goal of a back break fall is to prevent your head from hitting the ground. If the back of your head smacks the ground, that can do a lot of damage. It can give you a concussion, could even break the skin open, cut your head open, crack your skull, depending on how hard you fall. So the number one goal of a break fall is to protect your head, okay? Now, so the first thing you need to do when you feel yourself falling is to tuck your chin. And it's not just your chin, but you also want to curl your body as well, right? So you feel yourself going down and you think like this, almost like turtle. Right? A turtle tucking in its shell when it senses danger, okay? And when you tuck your chin down to your chest, it's important that you do it with your mouth closed, right? Because if you just go like this to get your chin to your chest, well, then your mouth is open, and when you hit the ground, you may snap your mouth shut. If your tongue is hanging out, then you bite through your tongue, and it's just a bad day. So the best thing to do is to clench your jaw, like so, squeeze your teeth together as tight as you can, and then tuck that chin all the way down. So you got your mouth closed, nice and tight, and curling your body around, okay? So for today, we're going to practice doing this from a seated position right here like this. Notice I've got, I'm sitting on my bottom. I do have my feet flat on the floor. That's going to help with control, right? And so you don't want to be sitting with your feet out to the side like when we do sit-ups, or straight out, okay? But having your knees bent a little bit with your feet flat on the floor is going to help you with that, all right? Then the second part of the break fall, and something that you probably noticed the most, was that slap on the ground, okay? The purpose of that slap on the ground is to help slow down the momentum of the fall, but it also helps to spread the impact, right? So that hitting feeling. So when your back hits the floor, that it's not just your spine and your back that's taking the impact. But if you are also hitting the floor, that helps spread the impact out into your arms and hands and back into the ground or floor that you're falling on, okay? Now, when you slap the ground, you want to do it with as straight of hands and arms as possible, so that when you hit the ground, it's all one flat surface hitting the ground and not just your hands hitting the ground. So I'm going to go slow motion right here so you can see. The timing of when you hit the ground is you want to try and hit at the same time that your lower back or your belt is getting to the ground. So slow motion, it looks like this. Remember, think turtle, tucking your chin, keeping your body curled as tight as you can, and then right there before your shoulders get to the ground, right? Your goal is even to try and keep your shoulders up off the ground as best you can, okay? So one thing that's going to help with that, and this is why we do sit-ups. Because as you practice these, you're going to realize those tummy muscles are working really hard to curl your body in, keeping that chin tucked so that when you hit the ground, it's like you're almost halfway up in a sit-up, or like you're doing a crunch, okay? This is the position you want to be in when you hit the ground, okay? Now notice my hands are in nice and close to my body. I'm not going way out here. If I bring my arms out wider, it forces my shoulders onto the ground, and that makes it really hard to keep my head off the ground. Even just laying here with my arms out, it's making my neck really tired. But if I'm reaching down this way, thinking curled up like a turtle or even a hedgehog, right? They curl up in a little ball. You want to imagine being curled up in that little ball as tight as you can as you go down, and then slap the ground right down here by your bottom, okay? So, a little bit faster, you want to reach your arms straight out, okay? And as you go down, slap the ground, okay? Notice it's nice. My whole forearm and hand are hitting at the same time. There is no bend in my elbow at all, okay? I'll roll up my sleeve so you can see, okay? Our natural instinct is to reach back and catch ourselves, okay? Either with our hands or on our arms. And that is bad, because that is how you end up with broken bones. If you catch yourself with your hands, you can break your wrist. If you land on your elbows, you can break any part of these bones in your arm, whether it's up here or down here. A woman I know very well, she fell and landed on her elbow. She didn't know how to do break falls, unfortunately, and she broke her upper arm in 3 different places. Okay, so that's why we don't want to land on our elbows. We don't want to land on our hands. Our back is nice and flat, and so the idea is you're almost rolling onto your back, and that straight, flat impact will be a lot easier to prevent broken bones, okay? So what I want you to practice is arms straight out, and parents, if you have helpers, you can get at their feet, stand at their feet. You can hold their hands and guide them down, and then help them to slap straight. It's really hard to break that reaching back instinct. And so that's even when you're doing your sit-ups for warm-ups. That's why I want you to keep your hands out like this when you're doing sit-ups, because I see a lot of kids reach back as they're laying back on their sit-ups, and that's going to mess with their instinct for break fall, okay? So it's tucking the chin, curling your body as tight as you can, and then slapping the ground. And as you get more comfortable with that timing, go a little faster, slap harder, keeping those arms straight. And okay, you can even start with your hands crossed a little bit. That kind of helps stop the instinct to reach back, but keeping your hands crossed, arms straight, and slap. All right, so spend some time practicing those break falls, practicing the timing of the slap with straight arms in, nice and tight, close to the body, and keeping the chin off the ground. Have some fun with that. All right, guys, next up, we are going to be learning our side kick. Nice thing about the side kick is it has those same 4 parts as the front kick, pivot front kick, and the rear kick. The same 4 parts are chamber, kick, retract, back to balance. The only thing that changes is the direction that our kick goes after we chamber. All right, so here's what that side kick looks like. No! I'll show you going the other way. No! All right, so did you see the 4 parts? We've got chamber, bring that knee straight up. Now, instead of kicking forward or to the back, I am still looking over my shoulder, because we always look first when we're kicking in a different direction. And now I just need to drive my heel out to the side, and then retract, and back to balance. All right, so when you're doing the side kick, just so you can see the foot position, now my foot is completely horizontal for the kick. The heel is what makes the impact with our target, okay? And same thing with the other side. chamber, kick, retract, back to balance, okay? And you can do this with either leg. It's kind of nice when you're in your ready stance. You can do it with your pivot leg or with your front leg, whichever direction you need to go, all right? So here's what I want you to work on today is those 4 parts. Have a partner you can hold hands with or grab onto the back of a chair or the couch, hand on the wall, and I want you to practice those 4 parts nice and slow. We've got chamber, kick, retract, back to balance. Now it's important that you don't turn and face it, because then that turns it into a funky, weird kind of side kick, right? If I'm kicking to the side and I turn and face it, well, now my foot's not in the right position, okay? So you keep your body facing this way as you kick out to the side. See how my foot's nice and flat, and then bring it back and set it back down. So I want you to do nice and slowly, all 4 parts, 10 on each side. Ready, set, go. All right, guys, last thing we're gonna go over today, something you're probably pretty familiar with if you've been doing videos with me for a while or to come into my classes. But if you're brand new, this is a nice, easy move to do. We're gonna be learning palm strikes. Palm strikes are a great way to hit when you're in a self-defense situation. Okay, last month we did work on punches because as martial artists, you should be able to punch well and properly with good technique. Nice thing about palm strikes, there really is not a lot of technique and form to it, right? That's what makes it great for self-defense, because you're hitting with the heel of your hand. Some people call it a heel palm strike. Palm strike, it's hitting with an open hand, and you really don't have to really even flex your hand a lot, right? So when you're in your ready stance, you always want to lead with your forward hand, and it comes straight out and straight back. Notice how I twist my hip and reach out, okay? What we don't want to do is slap, right? If we come here like this, bring our hand back, and then come out, that is just going to be a slap, and you're going to hit them mostly with your fingers, and it's not going to hurt them like you need it to when you're in a self-defense situation. So in a ready stance, I want you to reach straight out, okay? Leading with your palm, and then bring your hand right back, right? So my hand only moves a little bit, but my body moves, and it's like my hand is at the end of the whip. I turn my hip, boom, and it brings my shoulder, hip, shoulder, hand comes out at the last second with all that power traveling up the hip, the shoulder, and out into the hand, okay? So it's straight out, straight back, straight out, straight back. Now, when you hit with your rear hand with the same side as your back leg, it's the same thing. You start from right here, hands up, ready, stance. You turn the hip, and the hand is the last thing to come out. Pushing off your back foot, turning, boom, and snap it right out there, okay? And again, straight out and straight back. We don't want to bring our hand back here and then come down. That turns it into a slap that's not going to injure them the way you need it to when you're in a self-defense situation. So now that we've got it nice and slow, straight out, straight back, and out. Just like with the punches we did last week, you want to keep your hands up, good ready position, and trade places basically. Now this one's here by my face, and then I come back to my ready stance, right? So this hand stays up in its ready position. This is also protecting me in case I miss or they're taking a swing at me, right? I've got this hand ready, and then I switch it up. This hand is up now. This one's coming straight out. So when we've got our right side back, we want to lead with our forward hand, your left hand, and then hit with the right, okay? Watch my hips. I push and turn to get the power into that heel palm, okay? My back foot, I'm not taking a step. I'm just pushing off and leaving those toes planted firmly on the ground. I'm not flopping over and turning my foot over. That takes away your power, right? So just as if you were about to run, that's the same kind of push you're giving off that back foot. So I want you to practice straight out, straight back, keeping those hands up. And what I'd like you to do, if you can, if you have a mirror at home, I want you to practice a good ready stance and see how you can only see my face just through my hands. That's how I want you to see your own face in the mirror. And then when you reach out, reach straight for your own face and bring that hand back and reach straight out for your own face. And so you should always be seeing your hands in front of your face in the mirror as you practice 1, 2, palm, reverse palm, 1, 2, keeping those hands up and seeing those hands in front of your face in the mirror. If you have a spot at home where you can do that safely, all right? And ask your parents to make sure it's a safe place for you to do that, all right? So palm strikes, a little bit of slow motion. If you guys want to get out your punching mitts that you have, once you've gotten good, nice and slow, straight out, straight back, no slapping. It's not like this, okay? Especially once you get the mitts out, you still need to practice going straight out, straight back if you're going to be hitting the mitts, all right? So have some fun practicing those palm strikes, starting with nice and slow, practicing that form, keeping your hands up, all right? Have some fun with that. Ready, set, go. Hey guys, so today, this month, our new word of the month is discipline, and we're going to especially focus on self-discipline, all right? That is teaching yourself, all right? So really quickly going through the sheet, discipline is training of the body or mind according to rules or principles, okay? Then we've got 5 ways to show discipline: behaving in a calm and controlled way, obeying my parents and authorities, following instructions, listening to and applying correction, and learning from other people's mistakes. All right? And then our Bible verse. This is a really great one. I try to always keep it in mind. A fool despises his father's instruction, but he who receives correction is prudent. And in my next video, we'll talk about that verse and what it means to be prudent, what it means to be a fool, and how we can learn from that. And that is located in Proverbs chapter 15, verse 5. All right. Remember, you can print this off at home by going to shepherdwarriormartialarts.com. Under the members drop-down menu, it drops down. It says character trait sheets. When you click on that, it takes you all the way down. You want to go all the way down to the bottom of that page where the juniors trait sheets are listed, and this should say month for February, and you can download it to any of your devices, and then if you have a printer, you can print it off as well. Remember, it's your job to study, so make sure you start studying today so that you can feel confident and ready on test day. All right, see you next time.